bad. Too bad. So in this case, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of this December 2021, question number 3, they asked us in this case here to list the benefits of franchising. And of course, we have said what franchising is. It's a popular business model where a franchisee is granted the right to use a franchisor's business model, trademarks, and operating systems to sell products or services in a particular geographic area. And I explained and said, for example, in future, if you would want to run a college, there is no good reason for you to go and start a very, very new name for a college. Just come and tell Mwalimu here and pick RCM Online College as our brand. And establish your college somewhere, and you will get immediate reputation. So then what are the advantages? This RCM Online College is an established brand. Of course, you'll be able to get your customers immediately. Training and support, we shall be able to offer training and support to you consistently to ensure that a student who goes to study at your branch will be able to get the same feeling, will be able to get the same services like they get from the head office. Economies of scale, of course, will be able to do bulk procurements, so it will be cheaper that way. Reduced risk, franchisees benefit from reduced business risk as they operate a proven business model with a track record of what-year success, access to funding. So if, for example, through us, RCM Online College, if you are our franchisee, we can easily guarantee you, because we know our system cannot fail. Disadvantage is high cost. There will be a franchisor's license fees you'll have to be paying, royalties that will be you'll have to pay. Remember, we'll be able to define what kind of seats that you put in your college if you're going to use our brand. So it's going to be very costly for you, especially initially. Limited control. Franchisees have limited control over business as they must operate within the franchisor's established guidelines and operating procedures. Then we have limited control. Franchisees have limited control over the business as they must operate within the franchisor's established guidelines and operating procedures. Restrictions on flexibility. Franchisees must comply with the franchisor's policies and procedures, which can limit their ability to innovate and adapt to local market conditions. Sharing of profits. Franchisees are required to share a portion of their profits with the franchisor, which can reduce their overall profitability. Reputation risk. You can imagine, if it's KFC, you are franchise, and then we have KFC in their home market messing up with something. For example, somebody goes and like what we had in this girls' school, is it Mukumu, something like that? Assuming it was a brand hotel, you can imagine what will happen to your franchised business. You go down immediately. So using the balanced scorecard approach, this is part B of this question. Using the balanced scorecard approach, illustrate and briefly explain how managers use strategy maps to align organizational what-year goals. Listen and listen to me very well, ladies and gentlemen. When we talk of balanced scorecard, when we talk of the balanced scorecard, I'm so sure nobody here doesn't know what a balanced scorecard is. As the name suggests, it is that scorecard that will ensure our performance is balanced. Balanced in what way? That will ensure that we have our short-term. Will ensure that we have our short-term performance mixed with our long-term objectives. You cannot keep on telling us that you would want to maximize profits, such that you start, in this case here, cutting training costs. You don't want your employees to be trained, because if they are trained, that training cost eats onto your profitability. Are you not looking at the future? So you'd want a balance between short-term objectives and long-term objectives. We would want a balance between quantitatives, that is profits, vis-a-vis what are qualitative, quality. So when you talk of a balanced scorecard, remember we are required to look at our performance from how many perspectives? 4 perspectives. Could you kindly write down those perspectives for me? Could you kindly write down those perspectives for me before you start telling me that, Mwalimu, you know what? It's too late now. It can never be late in my class. It can never be late in my class, because, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you, you're going to benefit a lot, a lot. Are they able to remember those particular what year? These guys are not even talking to me tonight. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, what I know about balanced scorecard, is that we are going to be looking at 4 perspectives really here. So we have what we call the financial perspective. We have what we call the customer perspective. Customer perspective, we have the internal businesses perspective. Internal businesses perspective. Internal business perspective. And then lastly, we have what we call learning and who? Learning and growth, or learning and innovation. If I speak through this very fast, for each of these perspectives, we are allowed to map, we are required to map the KPIs, the key performance indicators. Like if it is financial perspective, the first key performance indicator will be the revenue growing as we cut on costs. The key performance indicators under customer perspective, there are 4 of them. Number 1 is to ensure that we are acquiring new customer acquisition. That's a key performance indicator. Customer satisfaction. We have customer loyalty. Are these guys coming back to you every time they think about CPA? Every time they think about, they get anybody, in this case here outside there wanting to do CPA, do they always refer them to us? Right? So we have customer acquisition, customer satisfaction, customer loyalty, and then we have lastly, as a key performance indicator, we are looking at publicity awareness. How are you publicizing yourself? If you look at some of these companies that are doing very well outside here against odds, you see we are still quite not far away from COVID. COVID is still with us, right? There are still companies in this case here that are not able to make any profits at all because of the COVID effects. But there are companies that are going against the odds here to make huge profits, right? Like EABL, ETC. Even if you fight it, go and say, for example, that in this particular area, we don't want anybody to be, that still here, that company will still make profits. It's because of how they publicize and they know how they target their audience. If it's breweries, they'll go and tell people that if you would want to stand a bit tall, drink Tusker. If you want micropower, drink Guinness. A young man, of course, an old man like me, I'll be able to know there is nothing like micropower. But a young man like yourselves, some of you will be cheated by those slogans. So they really know how to publicize. They're very good in publicity. They are very good in publicity. And then we have the business perspective here, internal business. Here, basically, we are looking at the technology, right? How are you adopting technology to spur your productivity? So, for example, the KPIs here, I'll be looking at things like a number of what here, defects. Number of defects should be reducing, right? Here, learning and innovation, I'm looking at the employee in terms of knowledge acquisition. Are you sponsoring them? So I'll be able to look at the market, or rather the learning kitty, the learning kitty. And the innovation, remember innovation, you can only say that you are an innovative company if every year you are able to come up with new products. If you're not able to come up with new products every year, then we can't say that you are an innovative company. Innovative companies come up with new products every year. If you look at companies like EABL, I remember I did something called agronomics for them some time back. They wanted to know why women don't take, or at that time, were not taking their brands. So we did a small survey, just a small questionnaire, which we went to hotels with, whenever we could get a beautiful lady drinking whatever, even if they were drinking water like this, and they were willing to talk to us, to give us information. We're just placing a questionnaire and explaining to them. Of course, the question was, why are you not drinking the bitter thing? Why are you not drinking Tusker? Then they would tell us, fine, I would really have loved to drink this thing. But when I tried it, when I was 21 years old, I tried it. And of course, my tongue was almost getting out because this thing was what here, very bitter. EABL took that advice since 2020, around 2011 or thereabout. These guys have been making some sweet beer, the Snap and etc. Please, it's not sweet. Don't try. I'm just giving you this for purpose of learning. Don't try. Don't tell us that. Don't start saying that Mwalimu said it's sweet. Let me try. There's nothing sweet in beer. It's a useless thing. The thing is, they are innovating. The same case with Coke. They are always innovating. So if you are stuck in a company that keeps on saying that we are specializing, we are focusing, trust you me, you don't have a future. Look at Safaricom. Were it not for M-Pesa, where would Safaricom be? I remember some time back, there is some time, if you remember, was it in 07, when the Right Honorable Odinga came and told his followers, all of them, to resist Safaricom. The same year, Safaricom profits went up by more than 10%. Trust you me, were it not for M-Pesa, I'm so sure they would have been whitewashed 100% because Raila has a big following in this country. But you see, people could shut this thing down a little bit. After 1 hour, you want to check whether there is anybody who has sent you M-Pesa. Then the internet is the best. Like now we're using it here, right? etc. So when you diversify, then automatically you're putting yourself onto the road of longevity. You shall be there in the future. So look at the question. We haven't yet answered the question. Look at the question. The question wanted us, look at this, using the balanced scorecard approach, illustrate and briefly explain how managers use strategy maps, right, to align organizational goals through KPIs on this balanced scorecard. So you're being told here that the balanced scorecard approach is a management framework that helps organizations to align their strategic objectives with their operational activities. A strategy map is a visual tool that is often used in conjunction with the balanced scorecard to help managers align organizational goals. Below is an illustration of how managers can use a strategy map to align organizational goals using the balanced scorecard. So identify the strategic objectives, identify them first. The first step in creating a strategy map is to identify the organizational strategic objectives. These objectives should be aligned with the organizational mission and vision statements, and they should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, smart. Then define what we call cause and effect relationship, that if I do this, if I put in this money into marketing, I will be able to get this. So define cause and effective relationships. Once the strategic objectives have been identified, managers should define the cause and effect relationships between the objectives. This involves identifying the key drivers or factors that contribute to achieving each objective and the dependencies between the objectives. So cause and effect relationships. Then number 3, define key performance indicators. The next step is to develop key performance indicators for each objective. The balanced scorecard approach is a management framework that helps organizations to align their strategic objectives with their operational activities. A strategy map is a visual tool, we're repeating, that is often used in conjunction with the balanced scorecard. With the balanced scorecard, I think here the guy repeated quite a lot here. That's repetition. So develop key performance indicators, that is it. So ladies and gentlemen, if I'm the one answering this question really, then I should be able to, first of all, tell them what a balanced scorecard is. We've said a balanced scorecard basically is that instrument that is used to measure performance of an organization from how many perspectives? 4 of them. And the most important thing is that we shall have objectives. As we do these strategic maps, we shall have our objectives, which will be very specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, very important. From there, of course, we must come and check whatever strategies that you have here between here. For example, if it's customer perspective, customer satisfaction has a cause and effect relationship to profits. So it will be very important for me to define those cause and effects. That if I cause my customers to be satisfied, then automatically we shall be able to have what we call increased profit. So you must come up with that. And then very importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we have the concept of what here the KPIs. We have the concept of monitoring and what here evaluation. Once you speak about that and you have spoken about these things individually, then you are good to go in terms of getting what here, all the marks, in terms of getting all the marks in that question. So are we together or am I talking to myself? Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Remember, this is a strategy that I've used to help so many students in leadership and management. And I only do about 3 lessons only. 3 lessons only. But unfortunately, my students would want such lessons for free. That is the most unfortunate thing that I've never seen in any other semester. This is the semester I'm seeing. And people would want mwalimu to stand like now. Today I've been teaching them from what time? From was it 9 all through lunch hour. I went to BDA all through. Here I am to almost 11 and something. But now students are saying, mwalimu, we don't want to pay for this. And they're making a lot of noise in the groups, but we shall overcome. It's because they don't understand that this is what here, a very different model. Great. We shall overcome. Great, great. We shall overcome. We are together. We shall pay mwalimu. You pay mwalimu something small. It's just dinner. You're sacrificing dinner like this, something small. And then mwalimu also gets to explain to the family why he's teaching throughout. Great. So ladies and gentlemen, if you allow me, then I will be able to go